Good morning. Sending you love and sunshine from here, Soundside. It's beautiful and moderately calm. Like there is a strong wind, but what's wild is it's sitting really low upon the water, and so it's moving it, but just the surface. Now you can't just move the surface without moving the full body, so it's really coming from something deep. So as it's agitating and frictioning it, it's causing it to ripple down through the entire thing. So that being what's going on, they're talking a lot about picking up on new signals, new signs, things that have always been there that maybe you didn't pay attention to or really notice going on that are going to start to provoke you. And not like the water's not provoked in a bad way. It's not quite like that. It's more that it stirs you up and it gets you to ponder, wonder, ask questions. When we begin to ask questions, we're opening our spirit, and spirit can grow and our soul can begin to speak, because our self is like, ooh, I am ready to go. Now, it's strange that we've been in this awesome, awful self-help era because we just kept self-helping. It's kind of like the dieting yo-yo. It's you binge and you purge and you binge and you purge, and it doesn't seem to really move you forward anywhere if you're someone like me. Some people might have had lots of success. Okay. Somebody might have had lots of sex, but anyway, somebody might have had a lot of success, but more than likely they're not showing up at this channel right now, because we're here to develop and grow. We're here to embrace this plan of wisdom of the dimension coming in instead of this linear, logical, flat thing of having to deal with pegs and holes. All right. So if you are someone who is wanting to double your pleasure, double your fun, double your money, double your outcome, and not like with other people's ideas and functions, but you feel this dynamism, this power-packed energy down deep inside of you that somehow still keeps driving you or staying as a form of secret momentum inside despite everything you've seen, done, heard, whatever. It could be a new business wanting to be birthed. It could be a passion to have a family. I don't know. So, but what I can tell you is this, because look, you're wanting to go, wait, you came from there. You're wanting to go from the missed out effort, like efforting, and not seeing anything come of it, to where you begin to abound and flourish. But see, what we need to know here is both of these are kind of blasé. Can you see how this one ended up having it all, but they didn't shift on the inside? Well, we're going to find out about that shift on the inside. Look at this, kind of curmudgeon-y. But they've been talking about the black and white, and that's why, because it's moving us from the logical mind, the ruler mind, the emperor mind, into the creator mind. Because that's the thing of why the Fool moves through the tarot, is in order to gain the little tools and pieces of wisdom, the ingredients for the recipe, in order to become awakened. To be the one who says, oh, I like a little bit of this, a dash of that, your preferences, your proclivities. Pardon me, y'all, I've had horrible hives since they committed my son. It's been whoosh. All right, so getting out in the sun is heating it up. But anyways, what were we saying about that? Yeah, the emperor, because it can be very staid, very stuck, very regimented, like committing to the ritual or the religion more than to the enjoyment in the relationship, more than the meaning and the productivity of what actions you are taking. And like, here's a quick little example. After they did commit him, I could just keep coming out and doing my sunrise exactly like I had. Now I still kept recording, and I still was getting up early, but I didn't keep going to the gym at 4 a.m. because there's somebody in there who sort of like looks me sideways all the time. Don't understand why he does it, but I didn't need any offending energies around while I was going through that little bit of a dissipation process, because I turned over that new leaf, calling forth a cheerful countenance. And I just didn't need to exert any more effort than what I was already going through. Does that make sense? So some of this is really about learning to be kind to yourself. Learn to be generous to yourself. And generous isn't just financial. It's not just time and money. It's not just Saturnian things. It's this organic dynamic, because that's why it's fire, air, water, and earth. And then you put yourself in and you have spirit. You breathe it to life. What's it going to look like? We have a card today, all right? And back here it says, the question isn't who is going to let me. The question is, who is going to stop me? Ayn Rand, A-Y-N. I'm giving my best to the things that matter to me most. And in that, I pick up that me, that matter to me. So a lot of times we live outwardly in our lives because generally we're born into families or groups or some sort of dynamic that is helping take care of you and raise you, feed you, clothe you, all that kind of stuff. And so we tend to interact and engage outside of us. But right now there's this little bit of a push, like a little sweep, like that wind over the water, nudging and encouraging you to explore yourself a little bit more. Yes, there's time for fun and familial relationships and friends and that type of thing going on, but they're saying make a little more time for yourself. Afford yourself a little bit more private time. And they call it personal. Excuse me. Okay. A little more personal time. And when you slow down just a little bit, you start to notice and take in these things like, listen, the sound of the water. And when I do, it makes me want to breathe. And that breathe was a release from deep in my belly. Just some form of stress can just be the pace of our modern life. You know, just like there's loud and soft in music, there's fast and there's slow. There's different qualities that can enhance your experience. And since we're a creator, some of our senses we can dance with. And it's just affording that personal time to engage with it, to open up and allow yourself to witness what has been here all along, what has been speaking to you all along, what has been sending you medicine, inviting you in, healing your soul, sparking you up, facilitating ideas, things like that, because it's really a Genesis time. It's really a creationary time, and it's coming from the unknown, but is knowable. That's why it's not to be feared. It's also not to be stomped over and trampled over and run over and then be crying out every day, where is it? Where is it? I don't see, I don't this and that. Meanwhile, you're checking your watch, you're driving your car, you're shoving your food in, you're turning up the radio, you're taking another call. That's a lot. That's a lot. So life is just asking for a little bit more personal time right now. It's making a date request with you. I take a few minutes a day. I've set a few things in at the beginning and the end of my day, and the time slightly varies a bit, so it's not about being stuck to that. It's about, oh yeah, did you? Oh yeah. And it's my reflection time. It's my time to invite in questions in the morning and to reflect in the evening. And I don't write it down, and it's not all staid and steady. It's a bit more of an invitation, organic and natural, okay? Because we're all about operating in our nature here. So yeah, there's just some difficulties that were in the background, talking about brushing, talking about where you've cut yourself off, because Three of Swords generally has to do with the reaction that you had to being hurt. And these are the channels that you cut off from yourself. You separate yourself from, you maybe barred the door and stuck a shiffer robe in front of it so that you don't even know that closet is there. You know, so in these moments of affording yourself personal time, if it's time for that thing to be opened up, it'll speak to you, but it'll speak to you in a gentle way because you're receptive. Do you see what I mean? And you'll be like, oh yeah. And it'll come from a place of readiness. It'll come from a place of personal meaning inside of you and begin to help facilitate you along that, because when you start to open those channels up again, boom, life starts coming. You start affording yourself the ability to see the opportunity, to notice what is coming your way, and not continuing to facilitate and perpetuate things that are going to overtake you. And those things get the credit, the glory, and the reputation. You get lost in it because you're not what you do. This is all about who you are. Let's get into the who, my friend. And we go from this curmudgeon, like sitting all there, like, I'm going to sit here and keep guard of all this greatness and all this stuff that I had. It blocks the generosity. And being generous with yourself, being generous with life simply keeps a stronger flow. It's like if you need to water the garden, you could barely turn the hose on and stand out there all day and tell everybody the story about how, oh, your garden's gorgeous. Like, I know I have to work so hard. It takes me hours and this and that. Is that really the story? Is that really the story that you're looking for? I don't think so. It's more about this slowing down. Look at this chariot, not having to rush ahead. They're in synchronicity. They're in synergy. They are moving along together. And even the driver's like just taking it easy for a little while. Because even though he's in a vessel or he's in a car, when you're just driving along, your energy keeps pace with that. Okay, friend? So slow down for a few minutes every day. I'm inviting you. And spend a little personal time with yourself and with life and watch what starts to happen. It'll start bringing you back to life. It will restore your joy. It's going to awaken your mind to be excited again, full of inspiration ideas. Absolutely love it. It was nice to have this chit chat with you. Hey, if you're new here, consider joining the channel. It is free. As always, I'd love to have you here. And you could put a little touch of love on that like button for me. I would appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time. Always remember, I love you.